with me today. So, really quickly before we begin, I'd like to go over some limits of confidentiality with you. Is that okay?
Mhm.
All right, so everything that you say stays between these four walls, except for a few minor exceptions. So, the first one being if you tell me that you have serious plans to harm yourself or others, I have to report that. Also, if you mention you have knowledge of any child or elder or dependent adult abuse
Mhm.
that's going on, I have to report that
Okay.
too. And if a court of law subpoenas my notes from our sessions, they'll have access to that information.
Okay.
Also, I am a student, so we are recording the session right now, and I will show it to my counseling processes class. And they'll look through it and we'll process it, and after that sort of experience, the video will be deleted in a timely fashion. So is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Also, we have about 10 minutes today, so I have my little timer here to make sure that we stay on track. So a little bit of a shorter session.
Okay.
So tell me about why you came in today.
Well, I'm a grad student, so I have a lot going on in terms of, school and homework, and it's very stressful and time consuming, and it's really sort of affecting my relationship with some of my friends.
Okay.
One of my really good friends from undergrad is living in Alaska now.
Oh, wow.
So that's sort of been a hard friendship to maintain anyways because of the time difference and her having a job and me being in school. And then we had an issue when she came home for a few weeks because I was in school, so I wasn't available to make the 3-hour drive to go see her. And she got very upset about that, and it sort of caused a big argument, and we didn't talk for a couple days. But I don't think she really understands how busy I am and how stressful grad school is, and it's really sort of affecting that relationship and a relationship with one of my friends from high school as well.
That sounds really stressful.
Mhm.
I can definitely empathize. I'm a grad student as well, and it's really hard to juggle everything and just to balance so many different things at once.
Yeah, it really is. And with my friend from high school, I had made plans to go down and see her in Indianapolis over spring break because I was supposed to have 2 weeks off. And then the day before I was supposed to go, the weather got kind of bad, and I don't think it was necessarily weather that was bad enough that I couldn't travel, but I sort of used that as an excuse not to go because I was just so tired that I couldn't get myself to get in the car and drive 2.5 hours to spend a few days with her, and then drive 2.5 hours back, and then take those few days that I was using to visit her when I could have used them to, do homework. So I feel kind of bad, but I know that if I would have told her that the reason I didn't come was because I was tired and I had a lot going on, she wouldn't have understood, and it just would have caused more problems between us.
I see. Yeah, that's really tricky. Trying to just balance everything, and it sounds like maybe going to see your friends. Your one friend lives in a different state, your one friend lives 3 hours away. It sounds like even though these relationships are really important to you, it really does take a large chunk of time to travel only to spend a little while with them, and then a large chunk of time to travel back. So that's a lot of time being spent on just the travel alone.
Yeah, it is. And I do feel guilty because I know that I'm hurting their feelings, but at the same time I don't think that they're being understanding with me and my commitments right now. Neither one of them are in school right now, and so I don't think they really understand just how difficult it is to take a weekend off from school and leave. So it's just really frustrating, and it leaves me feeling guilty when I feel like I shouldn't feel guilty about putting my schooling first.
Well, it sounds like to sort of smooth over a potential argument, you told your one friend that lives in Indianapolis that oh, the weather's bad, so I can't travel,
Mhm.
because she most likely wouldn't understand
Mhm.
your reasons for being
Mhm.
really tired and just really run down and
Mhm.
not having the energy to just drive all the way there. I wonder, are there some things that you've tried to do or tried to say in the past to make her and your other friend understand that grad school is different than undergrad and you are a busy person?
Yeah. I mean, I've apologized to them numerous times for,
Mm-hmm.
being so busy and not being available,
Mm-hmm.
but that only seems to do so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still feel like they get angry with me. And I've sort of gotten to the point where I almost don't care anymore that they're angry,
I see.
because it takes too much time and energy to focus on these arguments and to fight with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I need that time and that energy to put into school.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I don't even care if they're upset with me anymore.
I see.
Just because I feel that no matter what I say or what I do, it's not going to be good enough, because all they want is for me to drop everything and go see them, and I can't do that.
I see. Yeah, it's just that time and energy shortage between either traveling or fighting. There's just not enough to go around.
No, there's not.
So you just said that you've apologized and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things you could do to? I know it takes some time and energy
Mm-hmm.
to do this, but what are some ways that you could maybe talk to these friends and explain that? Um, just kind of explain the reasoning behind you being so busy, that maybe it's not because you just don't want to talk to them or that they're not important to you anymore. They are important to you.
Mm-hmm.
But what are some things that you can say to them to sort of explain why you're so busy and why that's not always possible?
I mean, usually when I talk to my friends, I tell them what's going on in my life right
I
now. So they know that I have, class every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I tell them when I have big assignments coming up, like big papers or big projects due. And then, they also know that I've been looking for internships and doing interviews for those. So they know that I've been really busy.
Okay.
So what I've, been trying to do with my one friend in Alaska is we try to put aside an hour, maybe once or twice a week, where we can talk during the day when our schedules actually meet up and we can actually do that. And then we try to Skype maybe once a month if we can find the time, and that seems to be helpful. She's getting ready to move back to Indiana in August, so I think that once she actually gets back into the same state as me, then our relationship will improve some.
Mm-hmm.
And then with my other friend in Indianapolis, I've tried to make plans with her for my next break.
Okay.
And I know that I won't have homework during the next break because it'll be at the end of the semester, so I won't have all of this homework and other stuff that I need to do. So I actually will have time and energy to, go down and spend time with her.
Well, that's really good. It sounds like you're actually doing a lot
Mm-hmm.
to keep these friendships going and keep the communication intact.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, maybe it's not about trying to make them understand or trying to apologize, but about trying to make it okay with yourself to know that even if I can't devote all of this time and energy, it's not because I don't love them or I don't care about
Mm-hmm.
them. It's just because I have a lot going on right now. So
Yeah.
would that be something you'd want to work on, just making it okay with yourself?
That is probably something that I do need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kind of person that likes to keep everyone happy and that likes to be there to support everyone. And when I know that I am not, not doing that, then I feel a lot of guilt and I sort of feel like a bad friend, and that just, it takes a lot of energy, and it just, makes me kind of feel bad about myself.
Yeah. It sounds like the word guilt keeps coming up a lot.
Yeah.
That's a common theme.
Yeah, I feel very guilty when I know that I'm not being a good friend, or when I know that I, should be making more time for them or going to see them, but I don't have it in me to get in the car for 3 hours, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah. So, like I just said, maybe a goal for therapy is sort of working on that guilt and working on sort of neutralizing that guilt a little bit and just accepting your busy lifestyle and almost changing your role in those relationships.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I know that with my busy schedule, I've even, sort of had less time for my mom. Like, as an undergrad, I talked to my mom almost every day, or at least every other day. And now I'll go, 3, 4, 5 days without talking to her. Or when she calls me, I'll be heading into class, or I'll be in the middle of writing a paper. And so, I can't talk. And I'm on Central Time and she's on Eastern Time. So at 9:30 when I stop doing homework for the day, it's 10:30 there, and I call her and she's in bed, or she calls me super early in the morning when she's on her way to work. So it's kind of taken a toll on that relationship as well, of me not being as close to my mom and talking to her as much, and I think that kind of hurts her feelings a little bit too.
Yeah, that time difference, 1 hour, if you just say it, that almost doesn't sound like much, but when you're actually experiencing it, that really can make a huge difference.
It really does.
Well, I appreciate you coming in today and being so open and discussing what's been on your minds. I know we talked about one goal for therapy, but I kind of came up with that one a little bit, and I want to hear what are some goals that you have for therapy that you personally are invested in and want to work on.
I definitely do want to work on the guilt a little bit. And also, I know that I've said that I've tried to explain like my circumstances to my friends, but maybe trying again, because I really don't think they've grasped it the first time.
Okay.
And maybe if I'm more proactive with my work and getting it done early, then I will have more time and energy to devote to my friends, and maybe I will then have like a weekend free or something when I can do something with them. So maybe just being more proactive with my work and my time and my scheduling.
Okay, so just to kind of summarize the goals, the one is working on the guilt. The other is trying to maybe come up with, not a script, but kind of different points that you think would be good to discuss with your friends about why you have such a busy schedule and why the relationship is the way it is. So maybe just trying to really get them to understand your point of view. And it sounds like the third one is just trying to find ways to work with your schedule and just, keep your head above water, but not just that, but try to actually sort of control your schoolwork instead of it controlling you.
Yeah, that would be a good way to say that.
All right, well, I think those are really great goals, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
Well, thank you.
All right, well, thanks for coming in today.